everybody. As you know, I'm Jim Coleman. I'm the Chief Excitement Officer at the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation. I'm pleased to introduce you to another incredible entrepreneur. His name is Jim Smith, and he's the president and founder of Kinetic Potential Scholars. And I can't wait for you to hear about his life story, as well as about the great firm that he's developed and what it's really doing for all of our scholars out there, not only in Prince George's County, but around the world. Jim, welcome to Innovation Station.
Thanks, great to be here.
Well, tell us about yourself. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Wow, Bridgeport. That's a little bit north of Prince George's County.
A little bit.
Everybody in Connecticut's rich.
That's the rumor I hear. I didn't quite catch
That's
that.
where Yale is. I mean, Yale's not as good as Bowie State or University of Maryland, but I mean, it'll do.
It'll do in a pinch if you can make it in there.
What was it like growing up in Bridgeport?
I always give people the example who are not from Connecticut or not familiar with it. It's kind of like Baltimore. So you've got some areas of economic under challenges, and that's where I was from. And then you've got some folks in the suburbs who are doing pretty well for themselves.
So what was it like growing up for you personally in Bridgeport?
Well, I mean, I grew up in a two-parent household. I got two sisters and a brother. Absolutely, and that's the difference maker for me. I think that stable family environment really helped me.
No doubt.
But a lot of my
what did your mom and dad do?
Well, my mom, she's retired, and my dad.
What's she doing in her career?
She worked for AT&T for about 25 years.
Mm-hmm. And then your dad?
My dad's in real estate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
So you went to school, and tell us about how you evolved into this. I mean, Dr. Spock, man. I can't wait for everybody to hear this brother right now. He's Dr. Spock. He doesn't have the ears, but he's Spock. You've got to listen up to this.
I appreciate it. Well, I think one of the big things for me that really changed my trajectory was getting bused to school. I was in a program that took me from Bridgeport, Connecticut to Westport, Connecticut.
What's that? Is that night and day? It's like going
it's night and day going across the tracks. So Bridgeport, you have a lot of low-income families. Westport, Connecticut, probably one of some of the richest families in the country.
Schools loaded with all kinds of
resources,
teachers making all kind of money.
Absolutely, all the resources that you can actually want available to you. And I think one of the big metrics that I always try to highlight is that 90% of the students matriculated into college.
What did you study and that you found that you liked when you went to school? When you were in school, both junior high and high school.
Yeah, so I was really interested in math and sciences, and I really thought I wanted to go and become an engineer, and I eventually pursued engineering at University of Massachusetts, but I was really excited about that.
Yeah. When you were studying in high school, when did you think you would go, and what did you want to study when you wanted to go to college, and where did you go to college?
Yeah, I went to Occidental College, and a shout out to Barack Obama, one of our most prestigious alumni.
Yeah. Where's Occidental College?
It's in Los Angeles.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
so you moved out to Los Angeles?
Off I went, just me and my
Was that pretty scary to you?
It was a new experience. I mean, I had to grow up really quickly. It was on my own. Didn't have a lot of family around me. But again, I got fortunate to get a scholarship to go there, play a little football, and I was going to be able to study. I studied physics. That was the path into engineering at Occidental. So it was just a great opportunity. I'm very glad I took that.
And so from there, you got your degree in physics.
I got a degree in physics.
And then what did you do? You went to work for
a
big company or what?
Before that, I went to University of Massachusetts and got a fellowship to go, and I enrolled in their graduate program, Industrial Engineering. And I left there, and then I went into the workforce.
So what did you do while you were working in your professional career?
Yeah, so I've worked for IT management consulting firms for most of my career. Spent about 12 years at what's known now as CGI, was American Management Systems at the time.
CGI, I heard that's a big company.
It's a very big company. I think about $5 billion in revenue. What CGI does, it does a lot of things, but where I was involved in was supporting the system integration efforts of telecommunications firms, companies like Geico, government agencies, banks, really a lot of back-end operations, billing systems, collection systems, and then a lot of strategy and process re-engineering work.
Wow. Yeah. So after you made a couple $1 million there, you wanted to launch your own, what, is this a not-for-profit or for-profit? There you got Connecticut Potential Scholars.
Yeah.
Is that for-profit or not-for-profit?
Yeah, I'm also a Wharton grad, and I got my MBA at Wharton. And
that's where the president went. Everybody that goes there is going to be doing something in the world.
Hopefully everyone's doing something.
It's a tough program to get. The MBA program there is one of the toughest in the country.
Yeah. I mean, it was excellent. I'm very thankful to have had that opportunity.
Yeah, very analytical.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quantitative is what they say.
Absolutely. But again, so I believe in capitalism, and I believe in creating value and extracting value back from the marketplace. So I support for-profit efforts. And again, one of the things we're trying to show is that you can do well and do good. And so we really focus on again, the work we're doing now, we're really focused on how can we help improve the value proposition for students, get them into the workforce, change their quality of life through our talent management services.
Now, that all sounds sophisticated, so what does that mean? It start off with kinetic potential. What is kinetic?
Yeah.
And what does potential mean?
Yeah. So again, I mentioned that I study physics. So kinetic potential is, again, it's used in physics term that's used about energy. So you've got potential energy, which is stored energy. You mean you've got the possibility, but you're kind of stuck. You're not using it right now. And kinetic energy is when you're using that energy to do something. You're putting it in motion. And really the message to our students is we want you to be in motion, working every day toward your career goal.
Who are the types of students you're trying to help the most?
We're trying to help all students, and I think our work supports any student, any individual. But we have an affinity for students that remind me of myself. Low-income kids who really have a lot of talent and capabilities, but they just need some direction. They need that mentoring. They need that coaching. They need the systems to work for them, resources that are available today. They need to know about that, and they need to participate in things that are building the skills that will give them 21st century skills.
So if I'm a parent watching this wonderful show and I want to get my child in kinetic potential, what are the steps, and then what's the curriculum like?
Yeah. So first, just how do you get your kid involved? So today, we've primarily been working as a business-to-business relationship with school districts. So if your school has contracted with, that's one way you'll be able to get
Y'all contracted with Prince George's?
We do provide services with Prince George's County Public Schools and some of the other support organizations.
Any particular schools in Prince George's County that y'all work with?
High Point High School. We're also working with the Pathway School here. And we're now actually focusing on creating a cybersecurity program at those schools.
So if they enroll, do you have to have good grades, poor grades? Who gets in?
Depending on some of the funding mechanisms, so we often are funded by the federal government, so there are some parameters around eligibility, around income, and what school you're participating in. But overall, what we're really looking for are students who are motivated, who are eager, and who want to put their effort in.
And eager for what?
Eager for to change their circumstances.
A child can do that on their own?
They can do that on their own, but what we find is that you really need that motivation. You need that direction.
Self-motivation.
Yeah, you need that direction. You need someone to be your guide. So I can't make you motivated, but I can certainly show you the pathway.
What do you all do that turns a child that's got a lot of potential, and you turn that potential into kinetic energy? What do you do? What does this program do?
I think our secret sauce is our ability to help connect the dots for the students.
What does that mean?
Well, a lot of time what the research says is that students go to school, they're not even sure why they're there. Well, what's the purpose of being in school?
Yeah.
So we really start working
I
backwards.
thought it was just to get a good job.
Well, a lot of times they're not clear about that. How does history connect to getting a good job?
Yeah.
And so we really have to help educate our students by working backwards. Let's look at the type of career that you want to have. Let's look at an entry-level position that you say, I would like that job. Let's look at the skills that are required for that. Now let's discuss how you're going to get those skills.
Now, what are the areas that you encourage them to go through? Is it STEM, or is it anything you want? Study music?
Yeah.
How do you give them direction?
So we're agnostic in terms of what the kids want to be. I mean, we do take the economic data of what's going on. I have a quantitative background, and so we do support technology and math and STEM programming. But again, we believe you can be whatever you want. The process is, though, how are you going to get those what we call earned abilities? How are you going to do that so that when it's time to apply for a scholarship, it's time to apply for college or a job, you have the skills that they're looking for?
Now, Jim, what is an earned ability? That's a very interesting word.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the audience?
Yeah, we like to think of earned ability as, it may not be something that I possess today, but it means that with the right work and development and training, I can increase my skill set. I can add on to my existing skill set. So those earned abilities, we try to help students think about what does that translate into in terms of dollars. And so really helping students think about themselves from an equity perspective, like what's my value, what is my value, and how do I increase?
To the economy, right? What do I add?
What do I add to the economy? That's right.
Would you say the more complex my skills are, the more money I'm going to make? Or the more value I can add?
I would say that the probability is there, right? Because obviously there are a lot of factors that grow. But one of the key things we do know is that the more skills you have, the more options you have available to you.
Jim, tell me about what does an internship look like at Kinetic Potential?
Yeah. So over the summer, we also look at our students, when we're in high school, we look at them as interns. So every student should be working. And so we, as an organization, as an employer, provide internships, but we also look at the internship with other employers.
Right.
At our organization, what students are often doing is learning about data entry, helping us do research for to support our sales process for the upcoming school year, as well.
Some critical thinking that's going on.
Yeah, critical thinking, a lot of computer skills. We look at the 10 transferable skills that employers have said that they look for, and we try
Give us a little flavor of what those are.
communication, analytical abilities, decision-making. Those are some of the examples that employers.
Automation can't replace that.
No, and these are the skills that employers are saying that are the quality of their talent right now, that they're lacking that.
Yeah.
And so we really place a big focus on building those skills for our students.
Jim, tell me about a specific example of a kid that you're most proud of, that
Yeah.
reminded you, quite frankly, of yourself.
Yeah.
And tell us about what the results were of him being or she being in the program and what they're doing today.
Yeah, I mean, I think about two examples. I'll just say quickly. One is it was a young man, and he was in 4th grade. It actually was him and his brother, and we ran a program at one of the DC charter schools. And he was supposed to come Tuesday and Thursdays, and that young man was there every day.
Oh,
and what I always tell parents is that if we can
Nobody
excite,
had to tell him or push him, and no discipline.
well, we
He
try to
wanted
create a social environment, but it's a new network, and
Yeah.
so to see students who want to come to study.
And why did he want to come? What was making that happen?
Well, he was connected, I think, to the other peers. I think he was really excited about the technology.
Yeah.
We have a great incentive system. But again, our engagement level, but I think the kids are, they're looking for something to do. They're looking for those resources, and they really do respect the fact that these are things that are going to help prepare them for the future. So that's one student that was one of our younger guys.
What's that student doing today? Where are they at in their development?
So that student now,
College, or-
that student's in middle school. So this is about 4 or 5 years ago. That student's in middle school, and he's doing great. He has some changes. One of the things that we've got contracted for often is the academic support of students.
Yeah.
But what we hear from the teachers and their parents is the behavior changes that
Yeah.
they see in their kids, and that's what's exciting for us.
Teaching them how to learn.
Teaching them how to
really
learn,
tap
but
into what they like.
also valuing what they're doing in the daytime.
Yeah.
That this is what you need to be successful. And if you can't be successful here, how are we being successful as an employee?
Absolutely.
So making that connection for them. One of my other students who was a little bit older is a special needs student at the Pathway School. And he started out in our entrepreneurship program, learning about entrepreneurship, but also got involved on his own in our academic tutoring. So he would go home, pull out his laptop, get online, meet with a tutor, and begin to improve his academic skill set.
That's wonderful.
That was outside the scope of what we were asking him to do.
Yeah.
That student later came on to work with us as an intern, helping us with our computers and our analytics. And now that student is independent, working on his own, when there was a lot of concern, would he be able to secure a job and make it on his own?
Absolutely.
So we're really excited about that.
One thing that I want to talk to you about as we wrap up this show, you've got some kind of connection to Liberia.
Yeah.
And my connection, I've got cousins in Liberia.
Yeah.
One of my ancestors grew up on my same family farm in Lexington, Kentucky. William D. Coleman, he went to Liberia, became the 13th president of Liberia, and I've got relatives there today, and they live here in the United States, so I want to do a lot for Liberia the rest of my life. What's your connection to Liberia?
Well, we were actually contracted by the embassy to actually provide our KP Scholars Program to the refugees throughout the United States. And so we supported not only working with some of the local churches as well, we work with them to provide academic, social, and professional development. It was such a learning experience for me to learn about.
What does all that mean? I don't know what that means.
Ultimately, it means we're trying
That's
to
some
help.
deep stuff.
We're trying to help those who are not familiar with the American education system.
So you bring them here to the United States? or
Well,
you
they're
go there
already
and train
here.
them?
They're already here. So
From
they're-
Liberia?
From Liberia. So refugees who've come from Liberia who are now here in the
Yeah.
United States.
Maybe what was going on, maybe the Civil War, whatever conditions got them here.
That's exactly
And then
right.
what do you do?
And so we then work with them and their families. Families are not as familiar with how the American education system works. And so we work with them to make sure that they are getting the development they need from an academic perspective. If they are falling behind, we provide them with support, supplemental education, tutoring in math and reading typically. We are then mentoring. We match them up with mentors for their different careers. And it just was an excellent, excellent experience.
So what has innovation done for you, Jim? And tell us about, you've got an audience checking us out. How has it benefited your business?
Well, it's been great for me personally. I mean, I think as a new entrepreneur, being able to have kind of a soup to nuts shop where you can actually start out with the receptionist and facilities and resources, and the people. I mean, I think the amenities are great, but it's the people that really make the difference.
You say the people, what does that mean?
So I think the folks who are, Alicia is one of the persons that come to mind in terms of keeping us informed about all the different resources and programming that's going on throughout the county, not only the county, but throughout the state.
Yeah.
And that connection, I mean, when you don't have a large sales team, sometimes it's that little connection that can make that introduction for you. And I think that that's invaluable.
Where you can help more people too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we're excited about your future. We want to do everything in the world to help you to expand, grow, hire more of our residents. But most of all, we want you to help more kids. We need to be able to replicate you, President Obama and President, I'll say County Executive Baker,
Yeah.
myself and others, on how to help these kids out here to be able to know that they can tap into the American dream and it's theirs.
Absolutely.
And so I really appreciate and admire all the great work that you all are doing.
Absolutely.
I want you to take some time right now. How can people get in touch with you? Whether it's a parent or a student looking at this show, how do they get in touch with you? And how do they get the start on being able to tap into these wonderful resources that your firm offers?
Absolutely, and specifically also superintendents and teachers as
Yeah.
well. But our website is KP Scholars, that's kpscholars.com, and they can reach us via phone at 301-883-8256.
Man, I love your company.
Awesome.
Kinetic potential. This is making it happen. This is doing good and doing well. And that's what it's all about here at Innovation Station. We want to help companies here in Prince George's County to grow, expand. We want to help the owners to be able to be successful and wealthy. We want them to put more of our residents to work. But most of all, we want them to add more value here in Prince George's County and around the world. And so we're crazy about Kinetic Potential's future. You got a lot of potential. And at Innovation Station, we want to make sure that it's all kinetic.
Absolutely.
So best wishes to you in your future.
Thanks so much.
Have a good day, and we'll see you next time.